Hey everybody, it's Shelby here in my apartment in Manhattan, and as per request, I'm actually going to do a tap shoe review for you today, but instead of doing one brand at a time like I've done for you, I'm going to sort of compare all of the brands in front of you right now. I've given you so much information about each type of shoe, but I think really seeing them next to each other, figuring out which one's way more, seeing, the different shapes of them next to each other might be really helpful to you when you are deciding what brand to get. I've gotten so many questions from you guys on emails and things like that with individual questions about what brands I prefer. So I'm going to just do my best to give you sort of a side-by-side comparison of all the shoes that I have. Now, I don't have every professional brand, but the ones I have enough that I think you at least can get an idea between these. So the first one I'm going to show you is the LaDuca. I've talked about this and how I don't think it's particularly supportive. And here's my example of that. See how it just totally can almost bend in half? I've had them a long time, so obviously they don't start that flexible, but they can get that way pretty fast. And what I heard recently is that you can actually have your own LaDucas built up, which I didn't know, and the person who got these made didn't do that. So there is a possibility that you could have a great LaDuca shoe if you add a build on them. And one of my adult students actually told me that see how there's this little like neoprene spot here? She told me that she actually asked them to do it without that so that there wasn't as much give and it was a little more supportive. So I have not tried that, but that is something I was told, so I wanted to relay that information to you. So I wanted to sort of show you this and then show you another shoe. This is my Miller and Ben SporTaps. See, it only goes this far. It's like a much stronger shoe. So now that I've had these ones for a little while, I can tell you that I've been wearing them every day. I really like them a lot. The only new thing that I have to tell you is that the actual hole is sort of pulling out of the leather. So there's like an extra like spot open right here in the leather when I tie them tight. And I think that is because I have such a narrow heel that in order to get the shoe to feel snug, I have to like secure it so tight. So I'm probably tying this tighter than it's meant to go. So that is most likely my own fault. But just beware, if you have a narrow heel, that is something that might happen to these. They're supportive and they're not particularly heavy. Now let me see if I can compare these to the Jason Samuel Smith black shoe. So this shoe is much heavier weight-wise on my hand, but it's less expensive. And as you can see, the heel on the J Sam is slightly higher than the SporTap. I don't know if you guys can see that. And it looks like the build on the SporTap in the front is a little bit higher than the Jason Samuel Smith shoe. So now I'm going to compare this to the weight of a Capezio K360. So here's my Capezio K360. It's lighter. So I will say out of my flats, the J Sam black shoe is definitely has the most weight on it. It's similar. It's just there's a little bit more weight on this guy. And if you compare these, they're pretty similar in the way they're built. It looks like the heel on the black shoe goes a little bit higher. And I will say the inside of the black shoe definitely lasts longer than the inside of these. They always start kind of ripping and pulling after a little while. And the toe, that's interesting. It looks like the tap on the Capezio actually goes up a little bit at the end. And it actually looks like on this shoe it doesn't do that as much. Do you see the difference? How this one kind of scoops up and this one stays a little bit flatter on the bottom? So that's kind of a comparison between those. Now I'm going to show you my regular K360 versus my K360 boot. Sorry, I'm trying to grab all these shoes. What I will tell you that's really interesting is even though this is a boot, it doesn't really have any more weight on it than this one. So the added fabric up there is really lightweight, and I am just I was expecting to feel more weight on this one, and I actually don't. So that's kind of nice to know about these guys. As you can see, these are the same brand and they're the same shoe. So I just wanted you to be able to see where the shoe cuts off versus how high the boot goes in comparison. One more thing I'm gonna compare for you is the Miller and Ben versus the K360, because I've had some people ask between those two. So in this case, the Miller and Ben has more weight on it than the K360, I'm learning. And you can see it's just a little bit of a like thicker shoe. It also looks like at the toe, it goes up even more than the K, which goes up even more than the block. So I guess it really depends on your foot shape and what you prefer as a tap dancer. Whether you like your toe to be flat to the ground or whether you like there to be some cushion before your toe hits, that might be something to play around with. It looks like even though this one curves up more, it also looks like though it's a little bit closer to the ground when you really look how they're built. So the actual build itself on these is a little bit thicker than on these. So these are all just things to kind of take into consideration when you're thinking of buying a professional shoe. And I hope you guys found this helpful, and I will see you in our next video. So thanks for watching. Bye.